All right, y'all. How you doing? This is the reunion. Recap on review of Married at First Sight, Season 10, The Reunion, where it went down, where we found out the truth, or what we found out we already knew. I hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, staying in. But I'm glad we're at the end of this. This has not been the best season at all for me. I've been watching this pretty much since the beginning. Or very close to it. I'm not positive, but we're going downhill with this one. But anyway, let's get started. We started out with the reunion with Katie and Derek. They walk in. Um, Katie's looking very cute. I will say, very nice color on her. And Derek walks in behind her. They sit down, and they it was so Kevin Frazier is the host, and he's asking what happened, what's going on, how's they did a recap of their whole journey of the season. And so then Kevin Frazier says, are y'all still married? And they did a TikTok. um and then they say no, they are finito. So Katie begins to say, well, after camera stopped rolling, we did move in with each other. And then it seemed as though that Derek went back to his old life. He was coming home late, saying he was working late. He did say he was working late. But, I was just left alone a lot by myself, and wasn't expecting that. And I had to tell him, and so well, Kevin Frazier says, well, that's something you would want to work on or tell your partner. She said I did, and he did try to work it out and started having date nights and trying to get it together. But then it started regressing where they were not even in the same room, living in separate rooms, and then um, they went. I believe they went out of town or something on their anniversary, and he said that's when I just felt like it was time for me to ask, do you want to just separate? And she said yes. So yeah, they definitely did not make it too far. So sad. Katie was a trip. So I don't know. Maybe it wasn't that sad. I know I'm so late with I gotta get used to this. One day I'll be a really good YouTuber. um, but yeah, uh, they didn't work out. So then it comes out that how Derek feels, and how what was she doing, and it comes out apparently Mindy decided to meet up with her ex, the infamous ex. I said, wow. And she actually, had a little tryst with him. She calls it her one night, but he says, she was like, well, I didn't really cheat. We already decided that, we weren't going to be together at that point. And he was like, yeah, but come on now. That is just crazy. You couldn't wait. You was ready to get to old boy. Dang. Um, and it's always brought up again. What, Derek? Did you ever fall in love with her? Did you get hurt? And he was like, Katie made it very easy for me not to fall in love with her. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. But yeah, that's pretty much that was balls down to they didn't work out. She should have said no at the decision day, because she probably already decided that a long time ago. She said she wanted to see if you know, wanted to give it more time to see if it would work. And apparently she was still pining over dude. They said, "Oh, well, are you still with him?" And she said, "No, it was not a thing that I wanted to get back with him or anything. I just, want to do what I wanted to do." I'm like, "Do you know how you sound? You sound like a girl that never should have wanted to get married right now. You're such a little young behind down because you ain't ready." But anyway, that was Derek and Katie. So next, I'll talk about Mika and Michael. They walk in. Um, Mika's looking really cute. Michael, and they went through the relationship, and they showed this big old montage of Michael's lies. I was like, oh, that is horrible. Why would they do that to that man? Um, they asked, do you want to apologize for all the inconsistencies, aka lies, 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 lies. Um, and he did apologize and said, I just, I definitely want to apologize for my inconsistencies. That's what he said. Really? But anyway, he did apologize, and they asked me, did you want to apologize for anything or say anything? And she said, yes, should I have been a little bit more softer? Yes, I could have been more softer with him, and I could have, um, not been so harsh. But it was just hard, and it just wasn't going to work out. So she did give apology. Um, but all in all, they decided that they were already broken up. So that was that. Um, and that they moved on. So the next couple that we'll talk about is Mindy and Zach. Um, so before they sat down, and as soon as Kevin Frazier said hi, how you doing? Minnie just went on this whole like spiel about how, oh, I'm so fine, I'm great. This was the best decision for me not to be with him, and I'm really great. And I was like, girl, okay. um, she says, everything this makes me stronger, and I'm good, and whatever. Um, they asked Zach what changed because they showed him giving his vows, and he basically said in his vows that he would make her feel like she's the most attractive person, and basically he did the exact opposite of that the whole time. And Kevin Frazier asked Zach what changed after the wedding, and why would, I don't know, the vows, like, you didn't even know this person. I understand you're supposed to be marrying them, but I mean, that is how you're supposed to treat your wife, definitely. I don't know. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, he did not uphold those vows. He said he went around the circle about what how he explained it. They did a montage of that for him. I was like, they just love to like throw it back in your face. But that was what the season was about, pretty much. It was Michael's lies, Zach's circle talking, and Brandon's outburst and craziness. Um, but yeah. So they, work it out. I mean, they, got their little conversation in, and she was like, after they did the montage, she was like, I'm so embarrassed for you. um, but um, but that was Mindy and Zach. They're not even together anymore, so really didn't even need to hear anymore. Um, Jessica and Austin are next. Of course, they're awesome. They're the VIP or the MVP champion of the whole season. Um, yeah, they definitely came in, and they were the only ones coming in, I believe, holding hands, and um, they talked about, they did the whole thing about, you know, their montage of their relationship. They the biggest thing, of course, they talked about again was the fact that he traveled, and yes, it was hard, but they did get through it the first 3 months, I believe. Um, but you know, they made it, and they of course, they said, you know, were you still married? Of course, they said yes. Um, they asked about kids and the future and things like that, and they said right now we're just trying to get to know each other. You know, they just signed a lease. They're not buying a house yet. They're signing a lease on an apartment or townhouse, and right now that's where they're at. So, congrats to them. They're still married and happy. Lastly, with the single couch interviews was Taylor by herself. Taylor sat down. Brandon was not invited, and we find out because they apparently have restraining orders against each other, and they cannot be around each other. Um, so Taylor tells her story about how Kevin's like, what happened, you know, and he reads this account that he has from, you know, the court proceedings and things, and he asks her, you know, in her own words, what happened. She says that she was out with a friend, a guy friend, and that they were in the, I guess, probably a bar district, and he wanted to kind of be shown around, and she said, okay, well, let's go to this bar. It's pretty cool. They have a really nice rooftop. And so she goes and takes the friend to the rooftop, and they are leaving. And she says she goes to go get some water, leaves her friend to the side to go get her water. And she turns around after she gets her water, and she sees Brandon talking to the guy. And so I'm sure she's like, oh. And she says she goes over there and says to her friend, you know, we gotta go. You know, this is not, you know, we don't need to be talking to him. Let's go. Um, so they are trying to go up the stairs. The guy was like, you know, you know this guy? She's like, yeah, I do. I'll explain to you later. Let's go. And Brandon apparently was spitting out all these, um, I see you, B. I see you. I got you, and taking pictures of her. And she's like, okay. I tried. She said I turned around and tried to calm him down. And next thing I know, the police were getting called, and we both went to jail. So apparently, they both went to jail for a night or two. And she was like, I've never been to jail before. I don't even want to deal with it. She said, I only stayed around because I wanted to get a restraining order and I wanted to talk to the police. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of wishy-washy about how that whole, I think you would have to be there. I'm sure there was a lot of alcohol involved and things like that. So it probably is her story against his, first of all. And, it's just definitely not, not a good look for either one. But I'm glad they got the restraining orders against them, each other, so they can be away. Um, so then after that, they come back from commercial, and everybody is all together, and they start talking about it again. They kind of reiterate what's going on with the whole group, because apparently not only did Brandon and Taylor go to court, but some of the cast had to be brought in to the court proceedings, and it was the ladies, Katie, Mindy, and Mika were witnesses, I'm assuming, and also Michael apparently had to make an appearance because I guess he was on Brandon's side, of course. Now this is where it gets crazy. So they hear the story. The ladies were like, "Yeah, we had to go there. It was kind of crazy, really, And I don't think they really kind of didn't want to talk about it. Mika was like, "Yeah, I was there. He went. He even said some crazy stuff at the in the courtroom, and then they started asking Michael, what do you think Brandon would feel? What do you think he um, would say, or how his position was, and just kept asking Michael, and Michael out, at some point was like, listen, bruh, I am not his spokesperson. I don't know what he would say. All I do know is that I feel that her story is not consistent to what he's saying, but the court rendered their verdict, and that's it. I'm not Brandon. And Kevin kind of kept going back at him. The host kept saying, we're just trying to ask you. And he's like, listen, that ain't my business. I'm not talking for him. And during commercial break, he gets up and goes into his dressing room, and Kevin Frazier meets up back with him, and they're going back and forth. And he's like, well, what? Because I'm the only black dude. Is that why you're asking me? And no, like, no. And Kevin was like, no, you're the closest to him. Thought you might want to just speak up for him. But he was like, well, I'm not a spokesperson. He was like, I know you're not. But even I was like, what are they doing? Now, I haven't agreed with Michael the whole damn season too much. But this right here, they ain't have no right to put him on the spot like that. That was not his place. There should not have been any, you know, reason why they needed to be putting all that pressure on him to speak up for somebody else. That ain't his business. So anyway, that was that with they finally leave him alone, and they went back and sat down. Um, they brought up the situation with Zach, and they brought Mindy's friend in to support her, and they talked about Zach apparently um, accidentally dialed the Lindsay chick, um, thinking it was a different Lindsay in his phone, and um, the friend, she was like, no, you sure it was on accident? It was because she said that the girl Lindsay believed that Zach was going to be the one for her, that she deserved him over Mindy, and yeah. And so they asked Mindy, if she proves herself, would you be friends with her again? And she says, yeah, because I don't want our group of friends to be together. I was like, Mindy, you crazy. They asked the friend, um, would you be friends with her again? She's like, nah, she's not a good person. I won't be friends with her. I was like, y'all need to get Mindy and knock some sense into her. Anyway, um, lastly, they finally let out the bag who were these two people that actually met up that were from two different couples. And we find out dun, 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 that it's Katie and Zach, apparently. Zach is a piece of work. But anyway, they apparently had drinks. Zach is the one that initiated it, apparently. It was after everything went down, but it was before taping, I believe. whatever the case may be, she ended up letting Mindy know because she said she felt bad that it happened. And she said, and after I saw the whole, show, I just felt really bad. And I did tell her, but it was just drinks, nothing else. Yeah, right. Hmm. Um, yeah, so that was the big thing. And Zach is just a trip also. Like, I don't know. And Katie, she was so busy trying to tell Derek that he was such an immature person. She the one sitting up there that's a child. She the one sitting up there that don't need to be married. She ain't. She's still playing the game. She's still. Come on. Anyway, they did have a the ladies, they all got tattoos. They all have like written the word 10 on their ring finger or one of their fingers, and that was really cute. Um, but yeah, that was pretty much the reunion. We got to hear some apologies and some get some other information, how. But yeah, anyway, the season was not great. I didn't like it. Yeah, I definitely thought it could have been. I don't. The whole concept of marriage was not kept. It was just, ugh. Um, but it is a reality show. But yeah, it couldn't. It just it's getting worse by the season. So I'm kind of scared to even watch the next season. But I think I will because so I'll see if I want to review it or not. But I thank you all who have come, back to visit me to see my reviews. I definitely appreciate it. I'm going to try to put out new content, maybe some other shows. I'm not sure. But definitely I appreciate your subscription and your likes. Please like and comment and share and subscribe and visit me. And thank you so much. And y'all have a good day and good night. And